And yeah, thank you. Oh, look, we're getting a House Sparks raid. All righty. Yay. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you so much. Okay, I don't even know where to begin. Well, we'll begin with thanking Charlie from APS Radio News, as we always do. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News and APS Radio for making the world a better place with your presence, with your kindness, your generosity. Hal says hi, Tara. Oh, thank you, Hal. I say hi right back, but he's not, I'm sure he can't hear me. It's nice to be remembered by someone so memorable like Hal. All right. Well, you guys are showing up just in time. We just started the show. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for, all you do, because we are in this together. We are, it's our community, our liberal media community, and it's certainly, Hal's the real deal. He puts his money where his mouth is, supporting the show, and I appreciate that, really. All righty. Hal Sparks raid right in the nick of time. All right, come on, guys. I knew I should have put these cats in the bedroom. They're very frisky tonight. Right, Francis? Go lay down. Go lay down, kid. You're bothering me. Where do we begin? Okay, I wanted a couple of things after thanking Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. APS Radio, download the little app. You can. It's just an iTunes app. It's an Apple Music app, and you listen to classic rock and oldies all day. And there's also a classical musical station. Charlie does support the show for a long time. He's an OG Tarabuster, and he also helps the community cats. So he's one of the good ones. I wish there were 1 million more. We need about 320 million more. Then we'd have a very good country. So where do we begin? I want to talk about the fact that, okay, there's many things, like Uncle Clarence Thomas. Not sure if Hal, I wasn't able to watch Hal's show. Usually I watch Hal, I watch Stephanie Miller, I listen to Mike Malloy. This is what I do all day. I'm not complaining, I enjoy it. So, and Robin Kincaid. So I don't think he was talking about Uncle Clarence. So Uncle Clarence gave a speech the other day that is getting it's getting noticed because he railed against progressivism. Hold on a second. I'm getting very distracted here but anyway, it's all good. I always get distracted in the beginning of the show because I have to get my thoughts together. So where is it? Oh, we will talk about Steve Bannon peeing his pants. That's good news. Someone contacted me once and said, you should do some good news stories. Well, that's a good news story. It couldn't have happened to a nicer fascist, but we could talk about that later since I started talking about Thomas. So Thomas gave a speech wherever, starting at, I don't even know where the fuck he was. Uncle Clarence Thomas, what a disgrace. They're all frauds. They're all really disgraces to the position that they hold. He's such a bitter old man. And the fact that he gave this speech, that it was so rambling and unhinged, makes me concerned that he's getting ready to retire. Yes. Should I start with no, well, let's start, because people on the chat are talking about Bannon pissing himself. So maybe we'll start there, some light fare, and then we'll go into Uncle Clarence while I get my thoughts together. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was this Jared Golden voting with the Republicans to give Traitor Trump, the Congress was trying to reclaim war powers, trying to take it from this unhinged, unfit, illegal con man baboon and his illegal and unconstitutional war powers. So there was a vote to take the constitutional, to abide by the Constitution and make Traitor Trump have to go to Congress and declare war on Iran if he wants to continue attacking Iran. But Jared Golden gave the Republicans the one vote they needed to defeat that vote. So that's pretty disgraceful. And but yeah, so let's start with Steve Bannon pissing himself. I'm surprised Hal didn't show you this. That's Uncle Clarence. I'm sorry, hold on. All my things are out of whack here. Where the heck is my... Here we go. Safari, man. Hold on a second. What the fuck is going on here? Oh, there, that is it. I just have to move it over. I hate this. Ecamm is not allowing me any control for some reason. Here we go. Nope. Put that under there. You see what I'm saying? Here we go.
Look at that. Your fans.
Look at the way he's walking.
Here, or one of them. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank my agent.
Look, okay. Come on, man.
Look at that. Your fans are here, or one of them. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank my agent.
So I was just thinking, we were here a year ago, talking about the administration, talking about MAGA, and I think then it felt.
So there's a debate if he peed himself. Where is it? Somebody had a close-up of it. Let me look it up. Hold on. He peed himself. I mean, he's got a problem. He's not a well person. What I believe, they're saying, some people are saying that, oh, it's just that patch that, there's a patch on people's pants sometimes, I guess. It's a design choice. I don't know. It looks like a pee stain to me, and it's not uniform. It doesn't look like it was professionally patched, if that's the case. But we know that Steve Bannon he wears many shirts, and how do we know he doesn't wear many undershirts and underwear? I do think he probably pees himself all the time, and he just didn't notice, because this is a common occurrence. He pees himself all the time because he's a sick person. He's a drunk, and as you know, sometimes, well, I'm not even fucking logged in, see? Hold on. As we all know, as you get older, when you're a drunk, some people have incontinence issues. It is what it is. I'm not making fun of him. Well, am I making fun of him for that? I'm not making fun of normal people that have those issues. But if Steve Bannon pissed himself, I'm here for it. I know. Oh no, tolerant liberals, right? Well, he deserves it. Steve Bannon is filth. I'm trying to find it. In the meantime,
we've got a president who reminds me of Atlas.
Look at this. Speaking of sick,
he carries this country.
He
on his
reminds
back.
me of Atlas. This is how sick these people are.
He carries this country on his back. While the Well, the Democrats, yes. I thought it was pretty good, similarity. Well, the Democrats, the elites, the fake news, and the leftist political classes try to tear him down every single day. But he keeps standing. He keeps fighting, and so must we.
This is
because
like
we believe in something
Trump
simple,
derangement syndrome.
something powerful.
What is wrong with these people?
Like the words of a former president, John F. Kennedy.
This is embarrassing, isn't it? For the
ask
whole
not
world.
What you can do for your country, or what your country do for you, but ask what you can do for your country.
Paul Gosar.
Well, let me tell you, there's something you can do. You can build what we're calling tonight that red wall. Not all at once.
What is wrong with him?
Not overnight.
Right. Does he have
One
Parkinson's?
brick at a time. One voter at a time. One conversation at a time. One neighborhood at a time. One campus on time. One community at a time. Brick by brick. Build that wall. Absolutely.
Build that wall. One trick pony.
And here's the truth that the other side doesn't want you to admit to. If our base shows up, we win, and we win big.
Really?
And it's just that simple. If our people get out and our people vote, we win. No gimmicks, no excuses. Turnout equals victory. So I'm not just here to give a speech. I'm here to issue a challenge to every single one of you and to the people who are not here. Do not just cheer.
These are their best and brightest.
Sticky papers.
Wow.
Don't just
disgusting.
post.
Well,
don't just talk. Deliver votes.
Here we go. Here's a close-up. Yeah, anyway. PP Pants Bannon. There you go. But you know that's what it is, because he has incontinence issues because he doesn't take care of himself. He's disgusting. He's an alcoholic. I'm in recovery, so, it takes one to know one. He's an untreated alcoholic. And that's why he wears multiple shirts. He wears multiple pairs of pants. He probably pees himself all the time. And he doesn't realize it because this is a natural state of affairs. He walks around peeing himself. And this time it seeped through. So that's why he walks like that. He smells. He's vile. I mean, this is a person that's sick from the outside. I mean, he's inside and out. Look at the way he looks outside. His insides aren't not much better. That's for sure. He's a rotten person. And let's remember that he's a con man. He's a grifter. I don't understand. This is what gets me about MAGA-tree, that he has any followers at all. Steve Bannon is very influential maggot in the maggot sphere. He's still talking about Traitor Trump running for a third term now. He recently, I think he might have said it at this event here, that he believes he should run for a third term. This guy is lucky if he's going to make it to the midterms. Really, and he wants Traitor Trump to run for a third term because he hates America. They never liked this country. Like I said, they love the flags, right? They love the branding. They love the colors, the red, white, and blue. They love the symbols of patriotism because the substance is beyond them. They hate this country, founded from the liberal age of enlightenment, inspired by progressive values, the liberal age of enlightenment. Not that the founders weren't hypocrites and men of their time, that's for sure, but they were students of the liberal age of enlightenment. And that's what Steve Bannon hates. That's why he goes all over the world promoting fascism, promoting lawless power. But that's all they give a shit about is holding on to power. They don't want to win elections to make your life or anybody's life better but their own. Steve Bannon was arrested. He's been pardoned by Traitor Trump for the crime of stealing from maggots. You see, that's why he was pardoned. He stole from maggots. If he stole from the rich or, like Bernie Madoff did, he'd be in jail. But he stole from the maggots. And that's just the nature of what they're all doing. They're all in business to steal from the maggots. And what gets me is the Stockholm Syndrome suffering dupes that keep showing up. There's something wrong with maggots. There's, it is a mental illness. It's a moral disease. It's a spiritual sickness. And I was talking, actually, tonight, myself and I, I'm trying to remember what's grammatically correct. Me and Robin? Robin and I, right? We're filling in for Mike Malloy. And we were talking about this because when was it? A couple of days ago, I posted this video of, it was one of the clips from the show. So I've been putting up a lot of shorts. And we were, on one of the shows, we were talking about Kevin Hassett, Traitor Trump's, one of his economic advisors, supposedly, boasting about firing 300,000 workers. And so this short went up on YouTube and Facebook and whatnot. And there's a bunch of comments, people commenting on it, a lot of normal people. But what was fascinating to me was that there were, because it was on Facebook, I guess, there were a fair share of maggots posting that, this is a good thing that 300,000 Americans lost their jobs and in the government. They're better off in the private sector. And the government, big government is the problem. And this is because maggotry is a mental illness, of course, but it's based in bullshit. These people have been fed bullshit by the likes of Steve Bannon and their right-wing propaganda outlets for generations now, right? And there's nothing behind it, though. Steve Bannon, just government is the problem. Deregulation is great. Tax cuts for the rich. It's this ideology, but when it's applied, it destroys the country that is under its yoke. Look at what they did in Hungary. Hungary, for 16 years, they were under the yoke of conservative government. Why can't I talk? Government. And now Hungary is the worst, it has the worst economy in the EU. That is by design, but they have a very rich and concentrated, wealthy class at the top. Their income disparity, upward immobility. Every time conservatism is inflicted on a country or a community, you get the same results. You get kiss up, kick down, you get an economy that works for some. So, and it's, this is what Steve Bannon is peddling. I just don't understand how people deliberately tune into his bullshit. After he was arrested on the yacht of a Chinese billionaire in international waters, and he was pardoned by Traitor Trump for this scam, this build the wall scam. targeting the maggots. They all target maggots. That's the other thing with Traitor Trump. One of his, during the January 6 hearings, after Trump lost the election, he came up with some PAC. And then he started, Save America PAC. I don't even remember what it was called. He still has these PACs. He sends out emails, fundraising off of them. As we know, he fundraised off of the flag-draped coffins with his Stolen Valor salute. And what are you fundraising for? You can't run again. You're done, boob. You're not going to be able to run for office. I don't give a shit what Steve Bannon says. Steve Bannon can't change the Constitution. And, but they didn't even bother setting up the PAC. They just told these maggots, send me your money. And for this build, for Traitor Trump, it was Save America. And the same thing happened with Steve Bannon, build this wall PAC. And it goes right into their pockets. It's nothing but a scam. But that's what I wish somebody could explain to me somewhere in my life and make it make sense how anyone would tune into these people deliberately, continue to follow them, knowing that they scam their listeners, their viewers, the people stupid enough to look to these people for leadership and guidance. I swear, I think about this show and myself and doing this. I would never do something like that to this audience. And if I did, I wouldn't expect anybody to be here listening to the show or supporting the show. It's fascinating to me. So please, somebody explain it to me. Is it simply hate? They hate the same people. Is it that intoxicating to hate on minority groups? What are you getting out of it, maggots? Somebody tell me. I know we had Lanny Davis on the show the other day, and he wrote the book, The Third Way, Finding Common Ground, about, he wants to reach across the aisle to not to Trumpanzees, he made that clear, but to those who are reachable. And I have to wonder, I don't know, it's hard to say who's reachable when you're buying into a cult that is so devoid of any decency at all. What are they selling these people? What is the end game? Traitor Trump he's already, in the last months that he's been in office, the United States, he's made everything worse. That's his magic touch. He's got the reverse Midas touch. Steve Bannon, okay, let's stick to Steve Bannon for a second. He's filth, so I'm glad he's pissing himself in public. And, and it's funny how people have to run to his defense. Oh, it's not piss. Who gives a shit? If you're making excuses for a Nazi, okay, no matter what, I would have killed to see Hitler piss himself. All right, figuratively, legally and peacefully. So Bannon was literally arrested on a Chinese billionaire's yacht and charged with defrauding his own listeners, the Build the Wall cult. And after MAGA donors were told 100%, that's what he ran on, or ran this ad, this scam, 100% of the funds would go to build the wall. But the prosecutors that arrested and charged Steve Bannon said that the money, they had the receipts, they saw it. That's why they got him. They had him dead to rights. The money was skimmed completely. It's not skimmed. It went for Steve Bannon's personal expenses and luxury purchases. It was 100% a scam. That's all they do, is scam their supporters. And of course, Trump pardoned him, not because he was innocent, because grifting off the base is the feature of the MAGA movement. It's not a bug. It's why they are in business. If you don't grift, they're like, I mean, they don't trust you. This is a cult of, well, the cult is the ones, the dupes, but this is a mob family. This is a crime family. If you're not in the crime family, if you're not criming off the dupes, then they don't want anything to do with you. The only way you can get in trouble in the Trump crime family is if you have any integrity at all. And that is a demonstrable fact. We don't have any cabinet members at the moment that have any integrity at all. None of them do. They're all loyalists, sycophants, unfit kooks, goons, freaks, traitors, and embarrassments to this country that should all be in friggin' prison or a mental hospital in the very least, or rehab, some of them, right? So it's we got to go to the first maladministration, where, what was it? Jeff Sessions, he recused himself from a lawsuit that had to do with Traitor Trump. Which now it's escaping me. Let me see. Jeff Sessions, you know what the lawsuit was about. Jeff Sessions recused himself. I'm just looking it up. And that was the only way that he fell out of favor with Traitor Trump. Jeff Sessions was the early adopter of Traitor Trump. He was the one that, before any single one of these sycophants, these disgraceful enablers bought into this because they have no decency and have no integrity, Jeff Sessions blazed the trail there. So he was the first one to endorse Traitor Trump, but that doesn't matter. In Traitor Trump's world, loyalty is a one-way street, as you know, and integrity is the only way that you could lose favor, right? So, oh yeah, it was the Trump-Russia investigation. Jeff Sessions recused himself from the Trump-Russia investigation because ethics rules required it. Once he became both a witness and a Trump campaign insider. So, you know, that's the only way you can get in trouble in Trump's eyes, is if you have any decency at all. You know, that's why he surrounds himself with the likes of Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr., you know, all these fake-ass Democrats. They were never Democrats. Tulsi Gabbard was never a Democrat. That is a disgrace in itself. I mean, who are we talking about this with? It's all escaping me. Because she was, who was that? Oh, I don't remember. So many things are happening at once, but we were talking about that. It's how the Democrats have Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama called her a rising star. I think it was Robin and I when we were filling in with Mike. So, anyway. Oh, brother. Yeah, and not only is Steve Bannon, here's the other thing with, shit, what the hell is that? What the fuck am I hearing in my headset? Hold on a second. Do you hear that music? I gotta shut these windows. I don't know what's happening. What in the hell? This is bizarre. Jesus, man, take the wheel here. All right. No, it's. I'm shutting down Windows because it's unbelievable. Hold on a second, guys. Technical difficulties. Yeah, that's the music. That's the YouTube counting music. And where the fuck is it coming from? Oh shit! Jesus Christ! I had a window open. That was so bizarre. Whew. Jesus Christ, what a night. Thank God it's the Friday night show. And we don't have any guests tonight. Thank God it's just us. That would be embarrassing. What the fuck was that? Say, this is what happens. I hate when that happens. I hate when a commercial starts playing. Well, this is what happens when I have like 20,000 windows open. And I had YouTube open, and I don't know what show was on, but it just started playing. Somebody's show started playing. All right. Jesus Christ, on a bike. Where the hell were we? That was weird. We were talking about Bannon peeing himself before I started. I know. I'm sorry. I was like shutting shit down, and I'm glad I didn't shut you down there on Facebook, Marcia. That was good. Jesus, Mary, did I shut anybody down? I hope not. I hope we're still streaming. Jeez, Louise-ness. Guys, all right. So, yeah, exactly, Joey on the chat. Joey says he doesn't know he pissed his pants. Exactly. All right, let's, what a fucking night already. Okay, now I lost my train of thought. We were talking about Steve Bannon. Let's just start with, let's go back to Uncle Clarence. Why not? Why the hell not? All right. Let me get my notes up here. Because, and the other thing we want to talk about, I want to talk about Uncle Clarence and also how everything Republicans touch, they destroy. How Traitor Trump has made everything worse since getting back in office. And he's going around saying that he won. Oh, that's the other thing that maggots are all over Twitter. I don't recommend going on Twitter, of course, because it's a cesspool filled with Nazis and Russian bots. But I have to go over there sometimes. I try not to linger because I end up wasting time over there, responding to their bullshit when I should just, sometimes I can't read it. I just force myself not to read what's on the screen because I know I'm going to sit there and start arguing with a bot or something because I just can't leave the bullshit laying in the floor. But they were on there praising Trump for winning the war against Iran, and they're calling it the Strait of Trump, okay? And it's not the Strait of Hormuz anymore. It's the Strait of Trump. Not that, he did anything. You see, the Strait of Hormuz was open before Traitor Trump started his illegal and unconstitutional war to distract from the Epstein files. Let's not forget that. Oh, and that's the other thing I wanted to, just to roll back to PP Pants, Steve Bannon. Let's not forget, not only is he a grifter who steals from the maggots, he is also a friend of Jeffrey Epstein's, or was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein's. He was somebody that was in business rehabbing Jeffrey Epstein's image. After he was arrested for being a pedophile, it was well known he's a pedophile. Steve Bannon was in contact with him, of course, hanging out with him, palling around with a pedophile. and telling him, oh, we're gonna, rehab your image, basically. We're gonna do PR for you. I know how to do this. I know how to make the media forget that you're a child rapist, and a prolific one, and this is the same guy. Remember, this is how we know it's all a grift. It's all a scam. The same one that was all happy to talk about Hillary Clinton drinking adrenochrome, right? All happy about promoting, the pedos in the Democratic Party, Joe Biden as a pedo, because every accusation is a confession. This is what scum they are, and you got to really think about it like that. They're scum. They're evil. They know what they're doing. They're not doing it because, they're doing it because they fucking hate this country. They hate humanity. They're horrible people. Their only true core value is, filling up that empty hole where most people have a personality. That's what it is. It's just filling it up. And they don't care who they hurt. They don't care about the country they leave in their wake. They don't care about the division they sow, the lies they pour into the empty heads of people whose serenity they're robbing. Leave people alone. Get the help you need. If only Steve Bannon would get the fucking help he needs, instead of manipulating people and robbing them and then pouring evil notions into their empty heads about other people, others who are just trying to what was Hillary Clinton's sin in Steve Bannon's eyes? Oh, she tried to make sure that no one had to needlessly die without health care, right? That was her big sin during the Clinton years when Clinton was in office. I'm old enough to remember. I was younger then, of course. It was in my early days of becoming politically aware. But what was Hillary Clinton's big fucking sin? She was a woman, and she wasn't I guess baking cookies like she said. I always remember that when she said, "Oh, I could have stayed home baking cookies or something, but I went and I got a career," and they eviscerated her for that because she doesn't know her place, really. And unfortunately, the Democrats, and that was a long time ago too, though. So, but the Democrats, fuck it. We should stop apologizing for being right, really. But, Hillary Clinton, what the hell? She tried to make sure people didn't die without health care. That was her thing. And at the time, the moral majority and the right-wingers have always done nothing for this country but tear it apart and hold it back and try to tear us, into shreds, really. Yeah, I always think about how much harm they've done while they pretend to love Jesus, pretend to love the flag and mom and apple pie, when they're just poisoning the people, like Steve Bannon. He's poisoning their minds and robbing from them. And so it's just, the whole thing is such a scam too. Because if only, because this is the thing about progressives. If it were that giving all the money to the rich, no taxes on the rich, and deregulation, if all of that actually did create a country that worked for everyone, guess what? We would be all for it. I would be on here talking about it. Let's do it. If it were that you funneled all the money to the fucking ones who have more money than they'll never spend it in a zillion lifetimes, because, and they have that money because of policies and the tax structure, not because they're working $1 trillion harder than the rest of us, because we all know no one works harder than the poor. People who are poor know what hard work is all about. People who live paycheck to paycheck. The fucking DoorDash granny knows what hard work is all about. Not Traitor Trump. Not the baboon who likes to show his little toys off like a toddler. Look at my ballroom. Look at my ark. Fucking ark. They don't even know how to pronounce arch. These morons. And they want to build an ark? Build a fucking ark and fuck off to Mars, please. Where is Elon Musk? Go to Mars already. Right? All you got to do is say, let's go to Mars, and they're like, oh, what a genius. Well, go there already. Take them all with you. Take Traitor Trump. Take fucking RFK Jr. Take Steve Bannon. Take them all. Leave us alone. But they don't want to do that. You know why? Because they need us. Because they're fundamentally, they are parasites. And we have to start using that language, I hate to tell you. We do. To describe it. Because the working class used to understand who the real parasites are. But we allowed them, since Reagan, to switch it up, switch up the definitions. And then they started, makers and takers. Like the people at the fucking top are the makers. And, thank you, my lord. Well, they don't make shit without us. You don't make shit, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, without us, and everyone that comes before. No one makes anything in a vacuum here. And it has to come down to, what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of an economy? Is it to make a few people rich? That's what they want us to think. That's what they have done to us through their incessant propaganda. And that's why I get these fucking comments. I should find that clip on my Facebook page, on the Tarabuster Facebook page. Because they're like, oh, yes, like they should be fired. Yes, we should celebrate when our fellow Americans lose their jobs, right? According to maggots. Only maggots celebrate that. But they don't seem to understand that, well, who's going to inspect your food? Who's going to inspect the water? Make sure when you drink your fucking coffee, you don't have explosive diarrhea. You don't have parasites. How about who's going to make sure when you fly, the planes are, you're safe, right? The infrastructure doesn't crumble. Or the postal service, you get your post, you put, like a fucking modern society, you put your letter in the mail and it gets across the country on 40 cents in 3 days. And how about, it's about what kind of society we want to be. We should have a functioning bureaucracy that is staffed by our fellow Americans who are serving the shining city on a hill, right? That these people think that, government bad. They're just fucking ideologues that have been propaganda. They're not even ideologues. They're just dupes that have been propagandized. That's what it is. It's just propaganda. But it's because they, unless it affects them. That's another thing, the selfishness. As long as they, it's like the fish swimming in the goldfish in the bowl that doesn't know it's swimming in water. They don't seem to get it. That, take yourself out into the fucking woods then, and maybe live off the fat of the land like the Unabomber, and you'll see. the infrastructure all around you that allows you to be free and to, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm sitting in an apartment building built to certain standards, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to fall down on my fucking head. That doesn't happen in every country, but regulation bad. Jesus Christ. That's why, like in Texas, they don't have zoning in Texas, because they're freedom. So you can have a factory next to a school, next to a nursing home. That's why when shit, like there was some fucking shit that blew up and it was like next to a school. Oh God, this is conservatism. That's what they are. That is conservatism. Stupidity. It's fucking stupidity. That's what it is. I know, I'm getting salty. Yeah, where is this fucking thing I'm looking for? See, a lot of cursing. Oh well, who cares? Oh yeah, here it is. I'm all over the place, I know, but that's the nature of Tarabusters. Sometimes. God damn it. I'm not logged in on Safari, and that's annoying. Where am I at? We'll get back to Uncle Clarence. Just consider it a long tease. Yeah. Anyway. Alright. I'm just having problems with my buttons, as you know, tonight. Yeah, so, people are like, commenting on the video that I put up about people losing their jobs. Some lady writes, because they were redundant. How do you fucking know? They were redundant. Not because they were redundant, because Elon Musk fired them, because he's an ideologue who thinks government bad, and now you're repeating it because you're dumb. Right? There it is. These are the comments. Why does eCam? It won't let me stretch it. There we go. A little bit stretched. It's a win. You see these comments here? It's a win. It is a win. Because they were redundant. Oh, and this is why I responded. Yeah, what blows my mind are the comments from Fox News, faux news viewers, cheering the gutting of government based on nothing but bullshit pumped into their heads since Reagan. Government bad, because it's the only entity powerful enough to make the likes of the Epstein class play nice with the plebs. That's really why they go after government, because if they like government. Don't you get it? Maggots, the conservatives love government. They like a big government boot on your neck. They like it in your pocket. They want it in your bedroom, in your doctor's office, if you can afford to go to the doctor. God forbid you get sick. You're really sick and you need it. So, yeah, they love government. They just don't like democracy. So when Republicans say they hate government, they want to drown it, they want to kill it, they want to drown it like a kitten, that's the kind of imagery they call to mind because they're disturbed, that they really mean they hate democracy. And it is sad, as I wrote in this comment, because I was getting so many comments of people like, yeah, fire him. It's sad how many Stockholm Syndrome suffering Americans have been trained to be supplicants to unaccountable oligarchs. That's what it's about. Sorry, maggots, but America is supposed to be an antidote to that. A system of unaccountable rich people lording over everyone else is exactly what the founders fought a revolution to overthrow. Right? A world where the wealthy run and rule and the rest of us toil in the fields and await our rewards in heaven is, that's the system that this country is supposed to be the antidote to. But the sad, useless idiots, and I don't call them useful idiots because they're not useful. So I'm using that word, those words, deliberately. They don't seem to, they've been conditioned to say government bad, simply because the rich, the billionaires who pay the millionaires to tell them that, to look over here, don't look over there, to tell them to feed these propagandized talking points into their empty heads and get them to vote for their own demise. And they do it all the time. They do it every time. But then, yes, exactly, as Marsha on the chat says, government bad until they need it. All the time. I'm so sick of it. And it has to be pointed out. Oh, I thought you didn't like government. That's what we have to tell her. Wait, you want government now? Wait, okay, well, sure. But let's get it clear. Now you want government. Because when government pulls out, as we see when with Medicare and Medicaid and kicking people off Obamacare, I said that from the beginning of Obamacare. I said as soon as they get it, they're not going to want to live without it, and here we are. It's always the case. It's like with Social Security. Anytime. That's what Republicans know. They know this. This is why they scream and fart and yell. And I'm talking about the ones in power. Because they know as soon as average Joe assholes get a hold of it, the maggots, and when they were called teabaggers or, what was that? The moral majority? I don't know. Whatever they were called. It's always the same. They can't live without it. So it's up to us to point it out to them. Otherwise, how else will they learn, Like a kid who doesn't get it. You got to learn somewhere, somehow. And there's certainly, well, that's the thing with Fox News and their Russian-funded influencers and whatnot. They exist to tell these people that never learning anything is the American birthright. Never learning, never ever evolving, never taking in new information. That's freedom. That's the birthright of America. That's the American dream. Oh no, the American dream economically is to be rich, be a billionaire, so you too can shit on your fellow Americans. Fuckers. Yeah, so, these people think that, and I wrote, they have been conditioned to believe that we don't deserve a functioning bureaucracy. That word, bureaucracy, we need a bureaucracy. The fucking Romans had a bureaucracy. You need every functioning society. This is a modern, gigantic nation. You need a bureaucracy to make things function and run. And that's not a bad thing. That's a necessary thing. What do you want? Oh, well, they want little fiefdoms, I guess, where we all... And that's really what it is. They want you to have no recourse, no laws, no constitution to protect you, the government not powerful enough to stand by your side. That is what conservatism is about. It's about making you the supplicant, the serf to the lords who have, if God wanted you to be a lord, then you would have been born a lord. But that's not supposed to be America. And prove me wrong. Stop me when I'm wrong, really. That I've said it for years that the Republicans hate America, and they're dragging us back to the system the founders fought a revolution to overthrow. Prove me wrong. Look at their policies. Look at them now. Look at Project 2025. Yeah, they may not be dragging us back to a monarchy per se in the sense of King George or King Charles now, which would be an improvement, frankly, on what we have. But I mean, they want a tech bro oligarchy. That is what they're doing. That's what Peter Thiel wants. That's what they're talking about. That's what J.D. Vance wants. J.D. Vance, this shape-shifting, I don't know, he's just not unethical, nothing of a I don't know what he is. He's like a fucking billionaire Rorschach test. They just throw all of their wants and needs into him, and he says, yes, boss. He's just the worst. And he's got, you know, his Catholicism. Give me a break. According to what I've read, he didn't even take a class in Catholicism. He just had a conversion. That's how sincere it was. Bullshit. He does nothing about Catholicism, and now he's lecturing the Pope on just war. And I wrote an article about that, how the filthy fascist J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson are going around. Of course, they're warring with the Pope, like the Pope gives a shit, and going around saying how the war, the unconstitutional and illegal war against Iran is a just war. Well, there's something called the just war doctrine. Well, this illegal and unconstitutional war fits none of the criteria of just war, according to the Catholic doctrine of just war, which was a philosophical framework put together by Augustine in the 13th century to reconcile man's warlike nature, I suppose, with Jesus's peaceful teachings. And J.D. Vance he's leaving all the details out. That's what they do too. They don't explain. It's sort of like what the corporate media does when they're like, do you like socialism? Americans hate socialism. And then they don't explain socialism, right? Well, no, Americans actually like socialism. They like their Social Security. They like their social Medicare. They like their social, I don't know, their fucking water inspection, their food inspection, like all that socialism that makes their houses not fall down upon their fucking heads. And when they get in trouble, they certainly like socialism, their social safety nets, right? So, yeah, they think it's, I guess, and these people that commented, they're like, they think they're owning the libs by gutting the very systems that Americans need to have a functioning society, like, you know, to keep planes from crashing and food from poisoning them and social security checks from arriving, right? Oh, God, I hate them legally and peacefully. They're not patriots. They're really not. They're, because they're, as I wrote, they're dismantling the only tool that ordinary people have to hold the powerful accountable, and that is our government. So when you go after government, that's what you're going after. You're going after your own power. You're stupid. Yeah, well, you're giving it all to the Epstein class. And they thank you for your service, maggots. Really. You dummies. You dum-dums. And it really is all connected to what Uncle Clarence fucking went off on. in his speech. He gave a speech. This is what makes me concerned, because we all think he's going to retire. They're pressuring him to retire. They want this baboon, these filthy fascists who hate America, want the unfit, traitorous, convicted felon, convicted rapist who sent a mob to defecate and urinate in the halls of the Capitol, who's already put half the fucking court on the bench there, I mean, disgracefully. They want him to put more people on the bench, and they're all going to be pretty much babies, like Eileen Cannon. They're going to be people who never tried a case, and they're, you know, but their only criteria is going to be allegiance to the traitor. The traitor. He's a traitor. Trump is a traitor. That's why I call him Traitor Trump. Just like I encourage everyone to use the qualifier poorly run in front of red state and others and the like, because, you know, it all starts with a message. That's how we get our country back. It starts with a message, just like the American Revolution started in tea shops with the message. It started in whispers with the pamphleteers passing around the I guess they were little podcasts of their day, the pamphlets where people wrote about, hey, we don't need a king and an aristocracy. Check out this pamphlet. Check out that common sense. And they were right? We don't need a king and an aristocracy. And that's how the American Revolution started. It started with with people whispering about, hey, we don't need this shit. It always starts like that. But just like the truth is spread like that, so are the lies. And the fact that these conservatives have been so successful, they know what they've done. They've done it deliberately. In the Powell memo, it was all written out how they needed to have what was proposed to Nixon. Roger Ailes proposed it to Nixon. He called it GOP TV, and that's Fox News. That became Fox News. They knew they needed to consolidate the message and to have a message, because at the time we had a media, and it was not a liberal media, because truth has a liberal bias, and that's just the way it is. And human beings are liberal. We crawled out of the primordial ooze, and here we are right now. We just went around the moon again, right? If we were fundamentally conservative, we'd still be living in caves. We're supposed to progress. We're supposed to keep moving forward. But here goes Uncle Clarence. So hold on a second, I'm trying to find my thingy-mabob. He gave a speech blaming progressivism for Hitler. Hitler. Who's Hitler? Is that Hitler's younger brother or younger sister? Hitler. So many things. Let me see. Hold on. Where the fuck is it? Hitler. I wish it was Hitler. I think Hitler was not. Hitler was the good one. Yeah. So Clarence Thomas gave a speech blaming progressivism for Hitler. It was Wednesday. It began. It was supposed to be a celebration of the Declaration of Independence, and I'm just reading it from Slate. It said it devolved into a bitter attack on progressivism, steeped in grievance, bad history, and self-regard. In the speech delivered at the University of Texas at Austin, Thomas blamed progressives for the worst crimes of the 20th century. This is how delusional and wrong they are. This Uncle Clarence in particular at this point, but they're all like this. Okay. Fascism is a right-wing movement. It's a right-wing ideology. And if you take republicanism, if you take conservatism to its ultimate end, you get fascism. And here we are. That's why they're constantly trying to rewrite history. There were books written, liberal fascists, which is an oxymoron in itself. Fascism is not a liberal ideology. I am sorry, conservatives. You can own it. It's you. You're the ones. Okay, you don't like it, then don't be it. You know? This is what I'm talking about. This is how evil they are. Just fucking be it. If you are it, if this is what you're promoting, then you have to be like, I know you are, but what am I? But then think about what you're doing. Then think about like, wait, maybe I shouldn't be this if I have to lie about it to get people to buy it. And Uncle Clarence? He blamed progressives for Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, and Mao, which, okay, even though the progressives were the ones in the concentration camps originally, right? They were the ones rounded up. He said they were all intertwined, all of these leaders intertwined with the rise of progressivism, as was racial segregation. Racial segregation is not because of progressivism or liberalism. You know, I mean, how deluded and convoluted can you be to think that and sit in judgment? You know, who is Clarence, Uncle Clarence, to sit in judgment of anyone with that kind of stupid and misguided view of the American Revolution, of the Declaration of Independence, of America itself, and simple definitions like progressive and conservative. He's got no grasp of history, much less reality. It was supposed to celebrate the 258th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Oh boy, are we in for a treat this year. Thank you. Thank you, maggots and Democrats who stayed home, for giving us this sickness in the 250th anniversary of this country. You should all be ashamed. Right? Disgusting. And if you're sitting on the bench, you're writing. He's basically, you know, the lords, as Robin Kincaid calls them, the supreme Catholic majesties on the bench. If you can't, I mean, they're basically lording over us from the bench and rewriting laws and constitutional rights and whatnot, making women die in back alleys again, bleed out in parking lots, and you don't know basic, fundamental history, definition, law. You don't know nothing here. You have no business. It's clear that his ideology blinds him to the truth, and he's just spewing bullshit. He's spewing nonsense. I mean, to wrap this in a tribute to the Declaration of Independence, and like, we're supposed to take it seriously. But this is what's so dangerous about it, because people will hear it and they will think that this is true, because it comes from a justice, who sits on the Supreme Court. He must know what he's talking about. Liberalism, progressivism must be akin to Hitler and Mussolini and Mao. Oh, they're all, everything is the same, Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini. That's why they just throw out these words until words have no meaning. That's what Traitor Trump talks about all the time. He says, it's liberals, they're the commies and the fascists and the socialists and the... that's what fascism does, though. There's no meaning anymore. It's the meaning is whatever they tell you it is at the moment, and that might change without further notice. So he says that, this is what he said, commencing, wait, where is it? Hold on a second. I think I shut my notes when I had when I was shutting everything down. What an angry old man. So let's see, he said progressivism opposed. This is how deluded he is. He says that progressivism opposed the Declaration of Independence. He said, at the beginning of the 20th century, a new set of first principles was introduced. Woodrow Wilson called it progressivism. Since Wilson's presidency, progressivism has made many inroads into our system of government and our way of life. It has coexisted uneasily with the principles of the Declaration of Independence because it is opposed to those principles. It is not possible for the two to coexist forever. So he says that the Declaration of Independence, a fundamentally progressive document founded from the liberal age of enlightenment, a progressive initiative and a progressive movement that inspired the revolution, that inspired democracy, is fundamentally opposed to the very thing it inspired, that was inspired by it. Okay, so there is nothing conservative about the Declaration of Independence or the American Revolution. If Uncle Clarence doesn't know that, he is unfit to be on the bench. He is unfit. He is sick. He's an ideologue. He's a moron. He needs to retire. He needs to fuck off. He should never have been there to begin with. He was completely unfit. This is how cynical Republicans are. He replaced Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American justice on the bench, who was a liberal titan, a liberal hero, who progressed our country, who made our country a more perfect union with reasoned and intelligent rulings, not Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas was put on the bench by George H.W. Bush because he has darker pigment. That's why. They were replacing a black person who has ability and deserved to be on the Supreme Court with someone whose only qualification was that he was a right winger and happened to have the right pigment. That's it. That's how cynical Republicans are. So, to say that Clarence, the new set of principles that he's smearing as progressivism, this is the same philosophy, impulse in progressivism that ended child labor, gave women the right to vote, broke up the robber baron monopolies. That wasn't conservatism. Created basic workplace safety. Or inspections, food inspections. Maybe your food shouldn't kill you. That's not anti-declaration. That is the Declaration being taken seriously. That is e pluribus unum. That is, we are in this together. That's a more perfect union. He says progressivism can't coexist with the Declaration. But of course, here in reality, which has a liberal bias, the actual record shows that every major expansion of freedom in this country, abolition, women's suffrage, civil rights, labor rights, came from progressives, from people pushing the American promise to be a more perfect union, more equal, more democratic, more, not less, not like conservatism. That is literally what progressive means. Just like the founders took that leap forward, the progress, they progressed from a intergenerational aristocracy and monarchy to a country of by and for the people. That's progressive, not conservative. There's nothing conservative about that. Conservatives were the ones who were the loyalists. They're the ones who would never rebel against their lord, their natural lord. Jesus, right? And then, of course, the progressive era. In the progressive era, which was 1890 to 1920, they were defined by antitrust laws, the Pure Food and Drug Act, the 17th Amendment, which is direct election of senators, the 19th Amendment, which is women's suffrage, and early labor protections, all that I'm sure Uncle Clarence is opposed to. And that is all about expanding the political community, the power of the people, and constraining concentrated power, constraining the power of the powerful. And that is in line with the Declaration, right? And the Declaration's insistence that government derive just powers from the consent of the governed, not a rejection of it. So I don't understand how he could think that, unless he's just mentally ill, morally rotten, spiritually sick. That's the thing that they do, though. They never explain it. They just throw it out there. They don't give you an example. It drives me crazy. I point it out all the time, and I'm sure you see what I'm talking about. Because they'll just say, oh, well, progressives is antithetical. It cannot coexist. Progressivism can't coexist with the Declaration. And, okay, give me an example. But there are none. So there won't be an example, and there never is. The Declaration of Independence was a radical Enlightenment document. Liberal age of enlightenment, equality, natural rights, the right to alter or abolish governments. That was not conservative. That's the opposite of the conservative, traditional European aristocratic government, right? That's conservatism. Conservatism is like, you unwashed plebs, you don't get to abolish or alter this government. This government is given to us, ordained by God. It's God, the king, and then you. No, well, the clergy, and then you. And you don't get a say. You don't get a seat at the table. We tell you what you do, who you, and you just shut up and await your rewards in heaven. You don't get to say shit. Really? Oh, Jesus. Here's Tara Jr. All right. All right. All right. Sit down. Just sit down. I'm talking. Mama's talking. All right. All right. You good boy. So, yeah. Don't give me this shit. Progressivism was not native to America. He says progressivism was... I don't understand this because people are progressive. For being progressive is human. Right? That is... There's nothing more human, really, since we've crawled out of the primordial ooze. All right, he's going to start biting my hands, and I don't like it. I don't like the biting of the hands. Well, it's only because my hands move when I'm talking, and he just doesn't like that part about me, so he bites my hands. You know? All right. I hear you, buddy. I hear yous. I know. Uncle Clarence is a disgrace. A disgrace to humanity. Right? I mean, life is progressive. We all progress. It's the way it is. You start out as a couple of cells, and then you turn into this or this. Right? And then you progress. People progress. Oh my, I can't see who, I bet you that's Joey. Or that amazing super chat. Because something is wrong with my viewer activity on YouTube. Thank you. Jeffrey, I think it's Jeffrey, because it won't show me who's giving me super chats. For your incredibly generous super chat. Yes, Jeffrey Giraffe. Wow. Thank you, my friend. And thank you, Michelle X5, for your super chat. Come on, everyone join Tara's Substack. Yeah, all right. I need that. Thank you. Thank you for that encouragement. Because we got to get those numbers up there. I got to get these numbers up here and everywhere. Or, I don't know. It's very depressing. Let's not go there tonight. Yeah, so he said, progressivism was not native to America. From Bismarck's Germany. Wilson and the progressives candidly admitted that they took it from Otto von Bismarck's Germany, whose state-centric society they admired. He acknowledged that it was foreign science, alien ideas, America slow to see the superiority of European systems. He sounds like he needs a nap. Grandpa needs a nap. You see, but because this is what is very classic right-wing bullshit. Anything that they don't like, or, they say it's foreign, it's un-American. The reality is the American progressives were responding to American problems. It has nothing to do with Otto von Bismarck's Germany. We weren't responding to Otto von Bismarck's problems. We had our own problems that human beings were trying to rectify. And you do that by being progressive. It's just naturally progressive. You answer the conservative inequality, corruption, and poverty that comes with conservatism. You answer that with progressive policies. We're talking about the Gilded Age inequality, corruption, tenement poverty, corporate power that made a mockery of the whole consent of the governed, which we are being mocked now by Traitor Trump and all of his spawns and lickspittles. And if you want to say, oh, they went to Otto von Bismarck's Germany, oh, it's foreign. It's ridiculous. They looked around the world for ideas. I mean, human beings, some things work, some things don't. It's ideas. They have universal health care all over the world. We don't have it here. That idea sucks. Not having universal health care. But we have things here that they have in other countries too. Like every serious policymaker, you look around, just like the Romans did. That's why the Romans were so successful, partly, was because whenever they encountered a new civilization, they saw what was working in that civilization, and if it was better than the system they had in place and more efficient, they weren't like the Republicans here. They weren't like that. They wouldn't be like, oh, we can't do it because, we didn't come up with it. They were like, oh, we'll take that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And they made it Roman. So that's what anybody who wants to live in a successful society does. Every serious policymaker looks around the world and then adapts policies to American, to their country and their own communities. If borrowing ideas from Europe makes something illegitimate, I have news for them. The entire founding is steeped in the European Enlightenment philosophy of overthrowing an intergenerational aristocracy and monarchy. John Locke, Rousseau, right? Montesquieu. And the founders themselves were quoting British radicals when they committed treason against the British crown. Oh, and don't even give me this shit, because it just came into my head that, who the fuck, oh shit. It was when they overturned Roe. When these bastards, I'm just looking it up. Overturned Roe. They quoted, not even American modern jurists, they quoted a 16th century English jurist, right? Let me see. They quoted, they cited him. And he was some kind of witch burner, too. I'm looking it up. Foreign jurist. Why can't I talk? I can't talk, I can't type. Jurist. Witch burner. Let me see. Yes, I am right. See? You're thinking of Sir Matthew Hale, the 17th century English judge whom Samuel Alito repeatedly cited in his opinion overturning Roe versus Wade. In his draft and final Dobbs opinion, the case that overturned Roe, Alito leaned on the eminent common law theories and authorities, including Matthew Hale, to argue that abortion was historically treated as a crime, not a right. He went back to the 1600s. You fucking piece of dirt. And he, not even an American, of course. Not that the country was even founded in the 1600s, but Hale was an English jurist whose writings Alito quoted to support the claim that aborting a quick child was a great crime and a great misprision. Hale presided over witchcraft trials in which he sentenced women to death on witchcraft charges. Amy Denny and Rose Cullender. May they rest in peace because of this piece of shit, Hale. And his acolyte, Alito, he explicitly instructed the jury that there were such creatures as witches. He made no doubt at all, citing scripture and wisdom of all nations as proof. And Jesus, take the wheel. Hale also is notorious for laying the legal groundwork for exempting husbands from criminal liability for raping their wives. Why am I not surprised? This is the jurist that Alito cited numerous times when overturning Roe. Jeez. Well, that's not surprising given that Alito dismissed modern foreign views as grounded in his anti-abortion bullshit, right? He wouldn't want to go to the modern legal scholars or whatnot. God, if that isn't proof how outdated, how these conservatives are, need to be smashed into history's trash bin legally and peacefully. Tara Jr., go lay down. Go lay down. He's tapping my leg. He's like, all right, come on. Come on. You gotta meet me halfway. Come on, but nobody likes when you're banging on the microphone. Hello. You be good. Okay. So, yeah, let's see. He wrote, Uncle Clarence says, you will not be surprised. Oh, I'm not surprised at you. But he says, you will not be surprised to learn that the progressives had a great deal of contempt for us, the American people. Yes, because that's what progressivism is all about, right? Contempt. That's why we want people to have a seat at the table, law to protect them so we can have security, peace, freedom, liberty, living wages. We can live authentic lives, have a day off, go to a doctor, take a fucking sick day. Oh, God. That progressives had a great deal of contempt for us. But this is another example that everything that they say is either a confession or a projection. This is projection on Uncle Clarence's part. When he says, you will not be surprised to learn that progressives had a great deal of contempt for us, the American people, he means that he has contempt for the American people. Before he entered politics, Wilson would describe the American people as selfish, ignorant, timid, stubborn, and foolish. He lamented that we do too much by vote and little by expert rule. He proposed that the people be ruled by administrators who, oh God, it's like the ramblings of a mad moron. Yeah, but this is what Republicans do. And to say that this is, he's cherry picking something that Wilson takes, Woodrow Wilson, we all know how Woodrow, I can't talk, Woodrow Wilson is our progressive touchstone. He's such a hero to the progressive community. He's our leader, our Lord and Savior. But to say that, you know, whatever, even if I don't know, I'm not a scholar of Wilson. And for him to say, well, he thinks the American people are selfish, ignorant, timid, stubborn, and foolish, and that means that all progressives think like that, right? All progressives think that if that were true, we would be conservatives, right? If we thought that the American people were selfish, ignorant, well, the conservatives are selfish, there's no doubt. Don't get me going here. The show is almost over. I can't. I'll be up all night with this. These are people, including Clarence Thomas, Uncle Clarence, who give fucking Ayn Rand to their clerks to read, who wrote glowingly in her diaries about William Hickman, a child murderer and dismemberer, that he was great and a hero to her because he didn't give a shit about anybody, that other people didn't exist for him, and he didn't see why they should, and she thought that was great. And this is the ramblings of a lunatic that this lunatic gives to clerks to read. They all have to read Ayn Rand, and not just writing about a child murderer glowingly. There's interviews with her saying altruism is evil, that selfishness is a virtue, basically saying that, oh, that's the only way, hey, everybody's selfish and that's what makes society so wonderful, because she was a fucking sociopath. She was a sick sociopath. And now he's lamenting that Woodrow Wilson said that American people are selfish and ignorant and timid and stubborn, and that some people are, you know, and that is an indictment on progressivism as a whole. I mean, this is what they do. They cherry pick some ugly quotes from some century-old politician and pretend that that's the essence of progressivism today, while he's fucking handing out books by a sociopath that praised a child murderer for being uncaring and not caring that other people existed. Oh my God. You see what I'm saying? I'm flipping out. And while ignoring that actual progressive reforms massively increase Democratic participation, right? Direct election of senators, primaries, referenda, recall, women's suffrage. If this is contempt for voters, I'd like to see what respect looks like. Well, according to them, I guess respect is gerrymandering and kicking people off the fucking rolls. So he's complaining that progressives, we don't think that people can vote? I mean, talk about convoluted bullshit. If you want to see contempt for the people, look at conservatives. Look at the modern conservative movement. We don't have to go back far. I mean, if you go back far, it's even worse, of course, because then they're just beyond brutal and vile and disgusting and inhumane. I mean, they'll fucking break your ass on the wheel. That's conservatism. For not bowing to the king. Forget voting. If conservatism got its way, we wouldn't be voting at all. We'd have our natural Lord, the King. That's why they want to kick people off the rolls today. So you want to see contempt for the people. Look at the conservatives. Don't start. This is why I say all the time that we will win. Because they have to pretend they are like us. They have to pretend that they're promoting people and promote. They want, it's progressives who don't want people to vote. It's progressives who hate people and think people suck and want to keep them down. When it's them. What are you talking about? Okay, let's play the game then. Okay, well, all right. We don't want people to vote. But you win. Let's let everybody vote then. Right? That's all we have to do. Oh, okay. Okay, you got us. You caught us, Uncle Clarence. We don't want people to vote. We think they're stupid. So you win. Let's let everybody vote. Let's play some fucking reverse psychology. Seriously. Contempt for the people. You never hear a progressive, a normal person, jurist, anyone, you never hear Ketanji Brown Jackson, when she gives a speech, she never talks about this shit like this. She never goes off on conservative voters or conservatives, right? Never, never, never. Maggots, when she should. Oh, she'd go off on Trump. I haven't heard any speech like that anyway. But these maggot justices, that are part of the corrupt and illegitimate Supreme Court, they should, they can't help themselves. They cannot help themselves. So, yeah, it's absolutely, not unexpected. I mean, if you want to, like I said, if you want to see contempt for the people, look at the conservatives. Voter suppression, gerrymandering, gutting the Voting Rights Act. That's what they did. That's what the Supreme Court did. So the Supreme Court repeatedly green lights big money, dominating elections. That's not faith in we the people. That is a system designed so the right people, right, can vote. The right people. That's what they say. And the right people always win. I mean, Jesus Christ. And to say, like, whatever Wilson's personal elitism, that's not a reflection of everyone, of course. The broader progressive movement fought for direct primaries, direct election of senators, women's suffrage. Jesus Christ. And of course, and other things like recall systems and mechanisms so you can get rid of some dirtbag like him. But by contrast, of course, the modern conservative monsters, which Thomas is a centerpiece of, they have gutted the Voting Rights Act, like I said. They have no leg to stand on. Oh, and then, of course, too, I'm just looking at the time here. Can't believe how fast it goes. I hope you're having a nice show, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show tonight for all its technical problems. My fucking chair. Hold on a second. All right, Tara, stop, please. I'm talking to Tara Jr., not myself. Tara Jr. Tara Jr. He's like constantly tapping me. What do you want, man? It's like tap, 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 tap. All right, my honey. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. He's a pain in my ass, but he is, he's overproducing tonight. Really. Oh, thank you, guys. I'm glad you're having a good time. In all the craziness that happened tonight. It is what it is. Ow! See, he bit me. He bites my hands. I don't like that part. Stop that. He's my good boy, though. He's such a good boy when he's sleeping. So, yeah. Where was I? Yeah, smearing progressives with Hitler. That is so tedious. So what does he say? The European system that Wilson and the progressives scolded Americans for not adopting, which he called nearly perfect, led to governments that caused the most awful century the world has ever seen. Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, Mao, all intertwined with the rise of progressivism. Really? Not really, Uncle Clarence. And all were opposed to natural rights on which our declaration... You see, like, the convoluted, twisted logic there? Oh, you see? He's going for the hands. Right? Look, he can't help it. Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, Mao, all intertwined with the rise of progressivism and were all opposed to the natural rights on which our declarations are based. Many progressives expressed admiration for each of them shortly before their governments killed tens of millions of people. What a lying dirtbag, you know? To say that... So, wait. Stalin, Hitler... I mean, this is like pure Glenn Beck chalkboard nonsense. Take everything you don't like, throw it on the same side of the board, and then pretend it's all one thing. Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, Mao. That's communism, fascism, totalitarianism. And these movements literally destroyed constitutional liberalism. Right? It's like, talk about you twisted fool. American progressives were the ones backing FDR, the New Deal, and the Allied war effort that crushed Nazism and contained, ultimately, the Soviet communism, right? Not the other way around. It wasn't progressives on the side of Nazis. That were the rich, the elites. George W. Bush's George W. Bush's grandfather. He was cited by FDR for trading with the enemy. The rich in the business community here in America, they were the ones backing Hitler. Because Hitler, they didn't like that, those pesky labor unions. That's one of the first things that Hitler did. Abolished labor unions. And they certainly liked all that cheap slave labor. I mean, are you kidding me? The American right has been red baiting Social Security and Medicare as socialism since the 30s, and now, I mean, I guess Thomas is upgrading the smear. If you believe in food safety, labor rights, social security, social insurance, like every other developed democracy, suddenly you're you're in bed with Hitler? It's totally convoluted, and of course it's based in delusion, not facts. I mean, fascism, Hitler, Mussolini. Why can't I talk? This is what happens. It's like dyslexia. I have a little dyslexia, and a speech impediment, just a little bit, as you know, if you've been around a while. Mussolini. I'm making up words tonight, though. Fascism and communism. Okay, so this is what he's doing. Let's see. Okay, I know you're here. Everybody knows you're here. Fascism and so we're talking about Hitler and Mussolini and communist totalitarianism, Stalin and Mao. He's lumping them together. They are fundamentally anti-liberal. That's one-party dictatorships that abolished independent courts, free press, competitive elections, everything that progressivism, liberalism stands on. This is what a dumb bastard he is. They were the mortal enemies of liberal democracies, of the liberal Enlightenment tradition, and that the Declaration belongs to. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so maddening that he's conflating it, and it's so sinister. He's such a gross, disgusting waste of, Trump is the ultimate waste of human DNA, but he is not far behind. Him and his bitch wife, his traitor bitch insurrectionist wife, them two. Could you imagine what they get up to in the fucking privacy of their homes? Ugh. Sure, it's not good. Oh God, I like to see his browser search history. They were, the mortal enemies of the Declaration of Independence, of the Enlightenment traditions. And he's trying, I hate these monsters. That's what they do. They hate, everything that they're doing is everything they are accusing liberals of doing, like trying to, make people not be able to vote? This is what he's saying. And that's what they're doing. Or hating the Declaration of Independence. How does giving Elon Musk more money than, making him a fucking trillionaire, and kicking people off of their health insurance, how does that fit in with the Declaration of Independence? The Declaration, freedom and all the principles that he says we're supposed to be against. Jesus, Christmas in hell. These people are, this is what we're up against. And that's why I say, again, we will win. We will win. Because they have to pretend that their sick, backward conservatism that is fundamentally anti-democratic is actually democratic. It's, I know you are, but what am I? Progressives are the ones. We're the fascists. We're the communists. We're the totalitarians. They're the freedom fighters, while they have their boots on our neck, literally. God, Jesus, Mamma mia, Mamma mia. And of course, yeah. Oh, and then he talks about progressives embracing eugenics. And forgetting, of course, that that was a bipartisan mainstream bullshit among elites. It had nothing to do with progressives. Conservative judges, Catholics, Protestants, elites across the board swallowed that bullshit. To hang it solely around the neck of progressives is completely dishonest. But that's what they are. They're dishonest. It's crazy. It was not a uniquely progressive pathology, that's for sure. But, God in heaven. Yeah, all right, there's so much more here that I could go into, but we're running out of time. What time is it? In fact, we only have like 5 minutes left. Oh, and he says, well, let's start. Here's another. I can't ignore it. because he says, this is the big inversion here. He said that progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence and hence our form of government. What? Wait, what? Have you read Project 2025? You fucking filthy fascist liar. It holds that our rights and our dignities do not come, come not from God, but from government. What? First of all, no. Of course, that is incidental. God has nothing to do with it. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. You're not the justice of God, Uncle Clarence. You're the justice of the law. Yeah, government. Government does provide us with our laws that govern our society. The Constitution, you're supposed to know this. It requires, that's modern American conservatism has built a system where your real rights are whatever the 5 justices and a handful of billionaires say they are, I guess. But, the subservience he's warning is ordinary people being told to sit down and shut up while the courts dismantle voting rights, abortion rights, labor rights. And this whole rights come from God framing is just another dodge. Rights are the law, what the law recognizes and enforces. God is incidental in that. You could say our unalienable rights, and they love to do that, conservatives. They're like, they say liberals believe in government when we believe in God. Conservatives believe in God. Well, what the fuck is what does that have to do with anything? Well, go to God for your, I don't know, go to God when you need to go to court, when you need to sue somebody. Go to God. See what happens. Shit in one hand and wish in another and see which gets filled up faster. Go to government. When you pray, when your fucking house is getting blown away by a tornado, you can pray, but you're going to put in your FEMA application for assistance after the fact, aren't you? Is that God or government? I don't know. God isn't going to sign it and send you your check, is he? It's like, what's the point, Uncle Clarence? It holds that our rights and our dignities come not from God, but from government. Well, what are you doing in the court then? Why don't you go away and be with God? Be with your invisible cloud being. And let those who are, I don't know, functioning in the society, let us deal with all the things that are real. And you can go play with your invisible cloud being and stop lording over the rest of us, because you clearly are deluded. It makes no sense. It requires of the people a subservience and weakness incompatible with a constitution premised on the transcendent origin of our rights. What? Okay, Uncle Clarence, sit down. Sit down now. Go do something with Ginny. And I'm not talking insurrection. Give her an insurrection. I wonder if they play January 6th in the bedroom. Like insurrection. He's having an insurrection. Oh, God. It's just so embarrassing to have these people. This is what conservatives do, though. They just destroy everything they touch. And then to say the Declaration's natural rights language, where is it? Oh yeah, he's talking about originalism. That's another thing. He's supposed to be an originalist, Uncle Clarence, which is laughable, frankly, because has he noticed his pigment? If he were an originalist, if we were all originalists, he wouldn't be on the bench. So, and originalism is ridiculous. The United States, like I said, is a progressive initiative. It's a progressive experiment. And I always say, oh, you want, like, we're progressives naturally. Human beings are naturally progressive. That is the state of being. That's how we do things. We grow, we learn, we evolve along with our understanding, and then we can be better and be, you know. Why I'm like, it's like I only shit in a diaper. I'm an originalist. I don't use a toilet. I just shit in my pants like I did when I was a baby. Because I'm an originalist. Oh, brother. Anyway, the American Revolution was the most radical progressive act in Western history up to this point, I think. Overthrowing a king, abolishing hereditary aristocracy, declaring universal human equality, even though it wasn't realized, of course. But the idea that that project is conservative is just propaganda. It's complete propaganda and stupidity. If the founders were conservative, they would have conserved the British Empire. They didn't. They picked up the most progressive ideas of their age, aka the liberal Enlightenment ideas, and they committed treason against a king to make them real. Does that sound like conservatism? They didn't replace the Declaration. They used it. They put it into practice. The abolitionists, the suffragettes, the civil rights leaders. They constantly quoted, all men are created equal, against the status quo. That were the conservatives of each era. And whenever we try to make a leap forward, it's always the conservatives telling them, you're going too far, you're moving too fast, you're threatening order, right? Isn't that what William F. Buckley said conservatism is all about? Standing athwart history, yelling stop? You can't have it every which way and loose, Uncle Clarence. All right. Listen. Thank you for hanging out. What time is it? Did the music go off and I didn't hear it? Yeah, I lowered the music earlier when we were having a lot of music playing suddenly. I think it's true. All right, and I just want to say one other thing before we go. Maybe another 15 minutes or so for the show. Yep. Thank you for hanging out tonight. And please subscribe to the show, okay? And hit the notification bell. Hey, Tara Jr., I gotta put you down. All right, honey, you cranky bastard. It's still early? Is it? Where's my fucking timer? Things ain't working right tonight. So I just want to say one thing. I didn't know this. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I'm sorry, I got a WD-40, this microphone. I keep saying that. But I keep forgetting to do it. It's squeaking. Go lay down. Go lay down. Oh my God. Jesus help me. All right. Pain in my ass. Sorry, I'm hitting the microphone. He's hitting the microphone. He's biting my hands. So, the other couple weeks ago, when we were talking about Brian Noem, I just want to share this because I was right again. I didn't know this. And we were talking with Robin. We were filling in for Mike Malloy. But remember we were saying when we were talking about Brian Noem's boobs, putting on those giant boobs, and his paying people to look at him in boobs and his fetish, supposedly. And I said, wow, this is, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's trans. And because he was raised in such a repressed environment, it's sad. He hates himself. Not that I'm not crying for him, because he has a choice, just like we all do now. And it's people like him that make him and his wife, Kristi Noem, who's horrifically anti-trans and anti-gay and just a horrible person in general, and that make it hard for those of us who have the courage to live authentic lives, especially trans people now who are so under attack by Kristi Noem and her ilk. And but we were discussing it, and I was just saying that, wow, he's raised in the fucked up community, that everything is so conditional with these conservatives too. That's why when they talk about, oh, we're rugged individuals, no, they're not. They're followers. They are cowards, ultimately. Try being a rugged individual in the Republican Party, and they will kick you out. They will ostracize you. They got something for you, and it's not, it's not welcome. Be yourself. We're all welcome here. No. They need you to be what they want you to be. And it's really sad when you think about how many people waste their lives in the closet, like Lindsey Graham, living this fraudulent life. Everybody knows Lindsey Graham is gay. Probably. I mean, look at Mike Johnson. I could tell, I don't know. Not that, whatever. He's married. It doesn't matter. Rock Hudson was married. But please, can you even picture Mike Johnson getting passionate with his wife? No. It's ridiculous. The notion of it is absolutely ridiculous. But so, we were discussing Brian Noem, but I just wanted to point it out that I was right again. Not that I'm always right. I was wrong once in 1968, I think, but about stuff like this. In fact, according to Out.com, Brian Noem wrote to these fetish people that he was paying to look at him in his big, giant, oversized boobs with nipples akimbo, that he was telling them that he wanted to go on hormone therapy, and that he wanted to have feminization. He said that he was having fantasies of feminization and wanted to take hormones and have cosmetic surgery to live as a woman named Crystal. Right? And somewhere you could have some empathy for him. He's in the closet. He's probably trans, or she. I don't know. Crystal. No, I mean, it's like J.D. Vance, too. J.D. Vance, in his book, wrote that he was having, He didn't think he was having gender dysphoria, that he didn't think that he was quite fit into the masculine mold or something. And he thought he might be gay, and he went to his aunt, and his aunt said something like, "Oh, it doesn't matter, as long as you love yourself and whatnot." And I guess he didn't take her advice, because he hates himself, and that's why it makes so much sense when he's a scold. He tells everyone what women should do, what men should do, how everyone should behave. That is somebody who needs to project their manias outward because they're struggling inward. And it's right out of Freud, a closet case. The ones who scream the most about others are really the ones who are struggling inwardly about themselves. They're just afraid. The most anti-gay are usually, for the most part, and they've done studies on this, that they are gay, because who gives a shit otherwise? But that's why when Robin told me about this came out in Out magazine. So it's one summary of the leaked messages said that he listed various procedures he'd love to have done, like hair removal, and he would also like cosmetic surgery to have huge fake tit implants and hormones, and he told another online friend in this fetish community that he said, "I will be your trans girl." So he's trans. And there are many trans people in the closet now, that's why it's sad, really, but Brian Noem he's part of the problem, because he's married to Kristi Noem. He has a choice in that matter. He also has a choice to stay quiet and, turn his authentic life. He could be. You could live as Crystal, Brian. You have a choice. Instead, it comes out as this caricature of a female, because he can't be himself. So it comes out as this cartoon and this dirty little secret. So then that is a shame. But what's worse is the pain he inflicts on other people who are just trying to live, trying to live outwardly and not with their shame. They're trying to share this blip of time with people like Brian Noem and Kristi Noem, but they make it so hard and unbearable. And all they have to do all people have to do is be loving and caring and understanding. It is. And like Wiggles McJiggles on the chat says, it's all a shame. It really is just a shame. The society that they create is it's so unnecessary. Just be good to people. Right? Just be a decent person. If somebody is trans, be like, oh, okay. If they come out of the closet, good, congratulations. Like, what the fuck? What skin off your ass is it to be a decent person? Right? So, yeah. It's pretty sad that Brian Noem doesn't have the courage to live an authentic life. And instead, he married Kristi Noem, and she's an anti-gay, anti-trans, rabid sociopath. And they together, I thought they had a godly marriage, but That's what they mean by godly marriage now. It's just one man, one woman animal abuser and one man in the closet in some form or another, making everyone who doesn't feel like they need to hide feel like shit. Just targeting people who have more courage than these two could ever muster in 1,000 lifetimes. So disgusting, right? Well, that's what it's about. You know, they present themselves as such paragons of virtue and manliness and femininity and their godly marriage. And even saying that, oh, we're in a godly marriage, means that everybody else's marriage is shit. Oh, you're not in a godly marriage? Maybe you have the same pee-pee, or... Well, it's always about putting people in hierarchies and separating them. So, yeah, I know, right? And Vance with his eyeliner, and I mean, it's just fucking, God help us. Just fuck off, conservatives. Please get the help you need. Stop inflicting your manias on our society. The world would be a much better place. It really would. And you would be happier. Really, you would be so much happier. That's why the founders fought a revolution. You know, that's why those progressives were inspired by the liberal age of enlightenment to overthrow the hierarchy, the intergenerational aristocracy, and that were intertwined with the church, to keep people out in the fields without any basic benefits of a modern society. Well, they hoarded all the earthly rewards in the halls of power. This country, this progressive experiment in self-governance, is supposed to be the antidote to all that bullshit that conservatives are inflicting on us. So, all right, guys, listen. Thank you for hanging out. We will win. There was a lot of stuff happening tonight. A few technical problems, but it wouldn't be a Tarabuster without it. Oh, and I forgot there was another one. Oh, well. We'll talk about it more on Tuesday. Do I have any guests on Tuesday? Let me look. What's today? No, I don't have anybody written down yet. Okay, listen. Thank you, Andrea, for modding on the Twitch chat. Thank you, Jim, for modding over here on the YouTubes, on the series of tubes. Thank you, Substack subscribers. Thank you, patrons. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. All right, I'm tired. Okay, guys, thank you for hanging out. Remember, I will see you on Tuesday, and we have more to talk about. Because one of the things on the list I didn't get to was all the ways. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. Because you never know what the hell's going to happen between now and then. So, but yeah, Traitor Trump did not win in Iran. Iran has won, and Traitor Trump made Iran great again. Really. It's unreal. Oh, and the other thing, I guess, before I go, this one House Democrat crossed over and sided with Republicans and handed Trump the single vote he needed to keep the Iran war authority alive, and that was, what's his name? Jared Golden, the only Democrat to vote against the resolution, joining Republicans. Now, this is what I'm talking about with the filthy I was going to say filthy fascists. No, it's not the filthy fascists. I just have filthy fascists on the mind. Hakeem Jeffries, what the hell? You can't wrangle your caucus? You had one vote you needed to wrangle. The only Democrat, Jared Golden, you can't. And I mean, where are the Democrats? After he gives Traitor Trump this illegal, unconstitutional power. How dare you? And of course, it's crazy. Well, Thomas Massie, the only Republican who backed the resolution. Jesus Christ. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries, I don't get it. Say what we will about Nancy Pelosi, and I do. I don't think Nancy Pelosi would even bring that vote up if she didn't have it all locked down. So how dare you, Hakeem Jeffries? What he just did was make the Democrats seem, of course, disorganized again. He said that because it was Jeffries that publicly committed to force a vote to limit Trump's Iran powers. And then he puts the vote up, and then the vote goes to the floor or whatever, and he gets everybody but this one guy. They fail to keep this one guy in line. Unreal, though. This is a failure of Democratic leadership, I think. He can't wrangle one person in the caucus. I mean, the leadership put the issue on the floor, but it couldn't hold 100%. When just this one person killed it. So, yeah, this resolution's defeat, and I guess we'll keep going for another couple of minutes since whatever, we're already in it. This resolution's defeat leaves Trump free to continue waging war in Iran without congressional authorization. Unreal. Under the war powers, of course, this was supposed to limit presidential adventurism, supposedly. That's with the Republicans. And Traitor Trump said there would be no new wars, right? But can't rein them in for some reason. So, according to Traitor Trump and his sycophants, the fact is, well, the Traitor Trump is declaring victory. America, we won. It's the Strait of Trump now, even though this entire debacle was completely unnecessary. And the U.S. has lost strategically. Now Iran is governed by a younger, more hardline leadership. Has a tighter grip on regional influence, and it understands that it has that grip because all it had to do was hold out. And it brought the United States down. That's all it had to do, was just close the Strait of Hormuz and buckle in. And this younger, more hardline leadership has more power now because it did that. So if you want to topple, if you care about the protesters, you want freedom for the people of Iran, good luck now, booby. Traitor Trump ruined that. And for him to go on about how, we have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with Iran. Are you fucking kidding me, you dumbass? Just like he has a great relationship with Kim Jong-un and Putin. Who? Putin giving our positions away to the Iranians who kill our Americans? Oh, just a little. He's hoping just a little. It's unreal. Well, I guess Traitor Trump's inner circle benefited from all that insider trading. So, but Traitor Trump has done it again. He's made everything worse. He launched this unnecessary, illegal, unconstitutional war of choice and distraction from the fact that he's all over the Epstein files, committing crimes against children. He's driven up global energy prices. He's hammered and destroyed our standing in the world. So, you did it again. Winning. Unreal. So, there you go. There's your America first. Trump gets to keep his blank check now, thanks to one Democrat. Iran gets to keep escalating its regional power and energy leverage. And I guess the only check that was supposed to work, Congress, just failed. One Democrat. Unbelievable. That's what's so disappointing about Democrats, you see. Because I don't get it. Why you would allow that to happen, Hakeem Jeffries. You should, I mean, when you're the leader, one of the things you're supposed to do is wrangle votes. And if Jared Golden, it doesn't make any sense. If Jared Golden is going to vote with the Republicans, I don't understand why, because this is a very unpopular war. 20% of the American people believe that Traitor Trump's illegal and unconstitutional war of choice and distraction was worth it. It did nothing but make us worse and everything more expensive, and embolden Iran and kill Americans needlessly. So there's no leverage there, Hakeem Jeffries? Doesn't make sense to me that a Democrat would vote to give Traitor Trump, to allow him to continue this illegal aggression without congressional approval. So it seems to me that Hakeem Jeffries would have all the leverage against his member, against another Democratic member that he's supposed to be in charge of. He's got the public opinion on his side. And you would have other ways of putting pressure on a member. You could really go hard line. You could take them off committees. You can deny them funding. You can on fundraising. So you could do that, Hakeem Jeffries. I don't understand why you wouldn't in a situation like this, when we're talking about a war of choice, an unconstitutional and illegal war of choice and distraction, from the fact that that baboon is all over the Epstein files committing crimes against children. And it doesn't matter, he's in a red-leaning district. This is an unpopular war. The maggots are against the war, too. I mean, what are the benefits? You know, what are the benefits? I don't know. He says he's, Jared Golden, he's a self-styled independent Democrat. He's now tanked 2 Iran war powers efforts for all the talk of Hakeem Jeffries about patriotic duty and party unity, clearly doesn't have the tools or the will to rein in a member who's decided that defying his own leadership is better than what? Standing up to this illegal and unconstitutional war? This illegal war of choice that is unpopular? It makes no sense to me. And it leaves Democrats looking stupid, as usual. And that's why people are frustrated with Democrats. Am I wrong? I don't know. All right, listen. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I know we were looking at that picture of Uncle Clarence for a long time. Uncle Clarence looking down. It's just a picture. He didn't look up a lot, that's all. All right, I'm tired. I gotta go. Listen. Come back on Tuesday. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can join the Tarabuster community. You can join my Substack. There are many ways you can support the show. All right? And the more support, the more subs, then the more shows. We'll have daily shows, more shows, lots of shows. All the time. And I'd like to do that. I really would. But I can't do it alone. I need your help. So subscribe to my Substack. If you can subscribe, kick up some money. That's how it is. Just a practical thing. If we want to do this, if we want to have a liberal media, we don't have big billionaire benefactors. And Charlie from APS Radio News and Jeffrey Giraffe can't do it alone. Nice chatting with everyone too, guys. Bruce on the chat. Nice chatting with you. Nice to see you. More Tara Jr. He's right here. He's right here. All right, honey. All right. See, he's cranky. He's very vocal. He's always been. He's always been a vocal baby. And he's very purry. He's a very loud purrer. He's a good purrer. All right. Listen. You know what to do. We will win. I'll see you Tuesday. Or sooner on the Substack, okay? I'm on that Substack a lot. That's where I stay primarily. So, subscribe, please. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff. You can join. Become a patron, patreon.com/Tara Devlin. We will win. Why? Why, Tara? Why will we win? Well, because unlike what Uncle Clarence says, we're on the right side of history. That's right, progressives. We're the patriots carrying the mantle of the founders. We are. We're the ones capable of functioning in a free democratic society that Uncle Clarence just can't stomach. It's true. We are on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. Thank you for hanging out, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Andrea, for being a moderator. Thank you for the House Sparks raid. As always, amazing. Thank you so much. We stick together. We win. Thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio News. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you on Tuesday or on the Substack. Sooner than that. See you soon.